Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing some predictions on the Bahrain Grand Prix for this weekend, and let's just say we've got a bold choice for pole this weekend. So let's start with a quick refresher of the Bahrain GP circuit. It is a 57 lap race with 3 DRS zones. There's a lot of long straights that should be good for overtaking, as well as some heavy braking areas going into turn 1 and into turn 10. It should be a night race, which means the fall in track temperatures could also mess with some strategies, or if you're Ferrari or Racing Bulls, then you don't really need any help with messing with your strategies anyway. So let's kick off some of our predictions then for this weekend. Let's not kid ourselves, the McLaren is still the fastest car on the track. Says the guy wearing a McLaren hat at the minute, but it's true, it is true. So we're going to split this up into a few different sections. This will become a regular series on the channel before each of the F1 Grand Prix. I was about to say weekly, but it won't be weekly, depending on when obviously the races fall. So let's start off with quali. The first one we're going to predict is Q1 exit. So are there any kind of surprise Q1 exits happening this weekend? I'm going to go with one. It's going to be quite bold. I'm going to go with Carlos Sainz for a Q1 exit this weekend. Now, yes, he was very good at testing around this circuit, so all of the drivers have already done quite a lot of laps around here, so it should be a really good race at the weekend. Sainz did manage, I think it was a 129.3 in testing, which was one of the fastest out of all the drivers. Even quicker than the McLaren's, for instance, but he's had a bit of a rocky start to his Williams career, and I reckon he could struggle this weekend. I think the Williams, I don't think it's going to be as good as what people might anticipate for this weekend. So Q1 exit, I've gone for Carlos Sainz. Carrying on with our predictions, now let's look at the pole sitter. I think it's going to be no other than Lewis Hamilton for Ferrari. He looked very good throughout testing here at Bahrain. He clocked a 129.3. Which was the same as Sainz. Well, similar, I think he fell just a bit short, he might have. Hamilton's also won the most races here at Bahrain. I just feel like he might pip the McLarens. They've struggled to really get that one lap out of the car, so I've gone with Hamilton. Next up in our predictions is our podium sitters. So for P3, I have gone with what might be a bit of a surprise to a few people. I've also gone with Lewis Hamilton, so I do think he's going to go from P1 to P3 and be the first racer of this season to not win the race after sitting at pole. I think Ferrari's strategy will let him down, and I just don't think he's going to be able to match the cars ahead of him. For P2, I've gone with Oscar Piastri. I think he's going to continue his good start to the season. The McLaren is undoubtedly the fastest car on the track, which is why I think Hamilton's going to end up coming P3. And I can just see another P2 for Piastri happening on Sunday. And of course, up next is P1. And I think this is going to go to no other, you've probably guessed it, Lando Norris. There's not much else I can say. The McLaren is just the quickest car on the track. I think they'll be able to utilise the DRS zones. With the track having heavy braking and long straights, that is the advantages of this McLaren this year. I think it was Andre Stella has highlighted those specific areas. The car has the strength in the straight line braking and high speed sections, so I can't see anything else other than a McLaren P1 and P2 again. But who knows? Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe we'll get a bit of a surprise on Sunday. Finally, kind of the final section of these predictions is going to be the fastest lap in the race. The purple sectors, the purple deltas. And I've gone for no other than Lando Norris. It's just too quick. The car is too quick. Lando's he's actually done quite well in Bahrain previous times, considering the car that he had. He's managed to finish 4th twice and 6th twice, and that McLaren is not the McLaren of what it is today. And I just think it's going to be kind of a McLaren dominance again, and Lando will create a bit of a gap to Max in the championship over this weekend. And then we'll see going forward what happens. That is it for the predictions this week. I'll do a little bit of a mop-up video after the race just to see how these have landed and how they've aged. Hopefully not terribly. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a comment below as to who you think is going to end up on podium or on pole over this weekend. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.